What's up, you guys? The video has gone viral. An officer, Las Vegas Metro Police Department, suspect went crazy. Officer took him down to the ground. Ground control tactics in full effect, showing a perfect example of what happens when you know when the fight goes to the ground. Check out the video and then we'll discuss it.
I mean, do you have anything? What's that right there? You got something squishing there?
It's my phone.
Okay. All right.
Bro.
Okay.
I'm legit. Like.
Okay.
Yeah, bro.
Do you have anything illegal in your pockets? That's what I'm asking. Can I search your pockets?
No, sir.
Okay.
I don't, sir. I don't have anything. Come on, man. Don't give me a break, man. Come on, man. Get up, dude. No, stop, bro. God damn it. 416. Hey, help me, dog. Down. Oh, wow. What the? Stop resisting! Stop resisting! I got it out. Stop resisting! Stop resisting! I'm homeless! Okay. Roll over. I'm homeless, man!
All right, I got one arm.
Okay. Hey,
The other
you
one's
got
under.
it. You got it. I'm okay. My left arm dislocates both.
All right.
I'm homeless, bro.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm homeless, dog. I'm homeless.
Back up.
So what happened? The officer was conducting a standard pat-down. The suspect was feigning compliance, answering all the questions, hands behind his back. Fingers were grabbed right here by the officer. He was patting down his pocket, asking questions. Everything seemed to be okay. When the officer reached back and pulled out his cuffs, what did the suspect hear? The clink, clink. The clink, clink.
I'm not going with you, that's for sure.
You don't like the clink,
No.
clink. Because that's, yeah, he's gonna go. So at this point, the officer, the suspect feigned compliance. He ripped his hands out. The officer got a hold, followed in this perfect rear clinch, stayed tight. They both kind of side fell, boom, until the hip hit the ground. At this point, a scramble ensued. The officer mounted on the suspect, and that's when you knew that he knew what he was doing. Amazing transition to mount, both knees on the ground, stayed low at first, started getting pushed, started getting wild. The suspect grabbed him in a headlock at one point, which is very common out of desperation. So the officer stayed low, stayed calm, control. Eventually started pushing up, making some distance. The officer used a few distraction strikes from here to get the suspect to keep his hands up. At this point, they were controlling. The guy almost got up on his elbow one time. He recovered with good hip pressure, came back, re-achieved the mount, and then finally, the suspect was so out of control, officer pulled his taser out, drive stun. Now, suspect went even crazier for a while, then he calmed down a little bit. Control, stabilizing control. Finally, about a minute, backup arrived. They were still in the mount. And the reason why we felt it was so important to discuss this situation was because what would have happened, and let's speculate a little bit about similar situations when an officer did not have the ground control tactics in a situation like this.
Of course. Let's show them.
Yeah, well, so let's say officer takes someone down, is just grabbing them. First of all, they know nothing about mount. They're grabbing, they're tugging on an arm, they get grabbed, they get thrown over this way. Boom, the person comes up, person ends up on the bottom. Now you have a suspect on the bottom. Sorry, suspect's on top, officer on the bottom.
On top,
Punches are happening, no backup there except
weapon.
Yes, your weapons are accessible. So, and what happens is this, we've done previous breakdowns where because the officer did not have the resources to maintain control and they fall off, the situation becomes deadly force, boom, and then they have to shoot from here, boom, boom, boom. So it turns into deadly force because of the lack of training. And we always say this, an officer without options is an accident waiting to happen. Because if you don't have any intermediate force options or hands-on tactics on the ground where the fight inevitably goes, then you're more likely to resort to deadly force prematurely. And that's the biggest problem. Yeah.
Now get a pop!
So now let's talk about some of the things we discussed this week at our GST program here with these instructors. regarding mount control, regarding mount concept. So if heat on is down, the first rule, if you're gonna engage in control, now of course you can always disengage, draw, taser, whatever you want, but if you feel inclined to stay in this grapple because you feel that if you get up, they're gonna get up and attack you, so then you might opt to stay into the ground fight with the mount position like we saw in Las Vegas. Rule number 1, the bigger the suspect, the lower you must be. Because if you sit up too high against a much larger attacker and you're striking or grabbing, you're very tippable, right? The taller you are, the tippable you are, the more tippable. So my number 1 concern is get low, pressure, and control. Push me to the side. Look at the hips. I'm connected at the hips. My hips and my legs are anchored on to my suspect here. Hip pressure the whole time. As soon as you neutralize their escape, then you have to begin worrying about the possibility of your weapon being accessed. Look, so he may go. Guess where I go? Elbow to elbow. Grab the weapon, please. Nice. Grab the taser. Elbow to elbow. Grab either weapon, please. Can't. So we're going to walk north, you guys. As his hand goes to the weapon, we're going to underhook, elbow to elbow, inchworm. Look, all the way north. North of the shoulder, inside the elbow. If he goes on the other side, look, switch the hips, underhook, inchworm, inchworm. And now look what we do. S-grip on the head, place it on the skull, lower your head down. Try to get for the weapon. Look at my hips. Look at the hook pressure. Still hooking. Still hooking. Now you guys, right here, eventually I want to handcuff him. But I don't want to be in a hurry because the longer I keep the suspect on his back, the more demoralized he or she will be by the time it's time to turn them over and apply the handcuffs. So there's absolutely no rush. Why? Because time's on whose side? Ours! That's what's up. So eventually, when the person tires, we can sit up when he's no fight left. But you have to understand the mount and you have to understand control to be able to wait that long. When there's nothing left, we come up, we go, and we go into a handcuffing strategy. Now it's possible that the suspect pushes up, right?
Especially if you're unable to get low and hold my neck.
Too strong, long arms, big guy. And at this point, we can swim and get back low, but if he's really strong, sometimes they're begging for you to take a submission. But remember, submission with no handcuffs is no submission. So look, we spin, we catch the arm. Standard jiu-jitsu straight arm lock, taught all around the world. And up until very recently, had no law enforcement application because from here I pressure. If I break his arm, eventually when I let go, he's coming up, and now we have a fight. So it wasn't taught for many, 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 many years. Now it is. From here, after you gain compliance, okay, I give up. Tap, snap, yell, whatever it is. At this point, you have to be able to transition into handcuffing. Check it out. Turn the hand south, over the thigh. Invert the south grip. Control the elbow. Leg up, hip forward, walk and talk, rolling over, tuck it in, catch one, hand back, sir, bring it back, cuff one, cuff two, and we're good right here, okay? So a submission without a handcuffing transition has no value for the crowd standing right behind me, you guys. If that was too fast, watch it one more time. So what's the moral of the story? Law enforcement, use of force, in terms of, man, not having enough training. And you know what the worst of all is? The public, the general public, generalizing law enforcement and collectively critiquing or criticizing, oh, cops are bad, cops are too aggressive, cops do this, cops do that. That's the worst. Because one thing that we've learned, and we don't expect the public to know this, is that over the last 15 years that we've been teaching this program, 20 years if you include our fathers running the program as well, the one thing we've learned more than anything is that there is no standardized training across all law enforcement.
You're telling me they're not all united in their training?
Well, they're united in their purpose.
Of course, but every police officer in the United States is not learning the exact same things.
No, not only that. Even within states, it's completely up in the air. So each department is left up to their own to decide their training. They might have similar policies regarding use of force, but the tools that are provided to the officers to carry out the arrest, take care of business in the least violent way possible is completely up to each command staff at each police department and the dedicated training and the dedicated instructors who want to pursue that information. So to say, oh, cops are aggressive, cops use aggressive force or excessive force too frequently, they abuse their power. Well, what's happening in those situations is you have a department with good people, very few tools, and no training. And when that person is put into a fight or flight, life or death situation and has no resources, what are they going to do? Excessive force every day of the week. They just don't know how to deal with it. So the solution is better training. But what's crazy is it's not even the officer's fault.
Whose fault is it?
They don't choose. Officers, when they sign up, they get a badge, they get a gun, they get some training, they go through a police academy, and sometimes that includes no effective ground tactics or controlling tactics without the weapons. It's up to the departments, the head of the departments, the chiefs, the training sergeants to change the policy that would allow officers the proper training. And you know, it's crazy. Some police departments are stuck in 1980s with no ground tactics, yet suspects all over the world are watching MMA every single weekend, learning general grappling concepts. And if you're not keeping with the times, you guys, yeah, it's a liability. It's an accident waiting to happen, you guys. So if you're a police officer watching, talk to the people who make the decision in your department, get the training you need so that you're not a liability to yourself and to the people that you serve. If you're a civilian watching, next time you see an excessive force video that goes viral on YouTube, instead of saying, man, cops are bad, cops are too excessive, cops are too aggressive with the public, cops are trying to abuse their power, say to yourself, that police officer is a victim of a department that does not have the proper training to allow him the resources to apprehend and control suspects in the least violent way possible. And if you don't have training, you're scared, you're like timid, and you engage, and everything is on the jump. Whereas someone who has the training, imagine if Hito was a police officer.
I would have done exactly what the officer in Vegas did.
Boom.
I would have controlled, fell on top of the fight, and held it till backup arrived.
That's what's up. Time is on their side, you guys. They just need the training to hold, we call it tread water until help arrives. So congratulations to the Las Vegas Police Department, because something's happening over there that is really providing them the training that they need. In fact, there are instructors in this very crowd behind me, I can't identify them, who are members of the Las Vegas Metro Police Squad that are here for the training as well. So it's amazing to see the departments that are taking that step forward and providing the proper training, and the ones that aren't, it's just a matter of time. The question is, how many lives have to be lost? How many officers have to get beat up? How many suspects have to get shot, tased prematurely in order for the changes to happen in your department? Are you going to be reactive or are you going to be proactive? The choice is yours. We're here whenever you're ready. Thank you guys. Much respect.